Hi everyone, welcome to the Physics 102 online Earth Science course in Intersession 2021. I'm your professor, Professor Trunkel. Nice to meet you all. As I indicated on the syllabus, I'm also a staff member at the university in the provost office. I'm the director of student retention and completion, which is actually a new role at the university. And essentially my job is to try to help students who are having difficulty with anything that has to do with their academic life at Scranton. So I'll just throw it out there. If anyone's having any issues, contact me. I'm in a position where I could basically try to help you as best I can, and I have contacts all over the university, and I'm here to help. All right, so with that out of the way, I'm on the main D2L page for the course. So there's a D2L video you could watch. So I have my course pinned here. There's directions in that D2L video how to get this pinned here, so it's always here. But you could always search for your courses up here in they call this the waffle. So you see that. You'll see your course here for the Intersession. So when you click in here, I'll give you a tour in the other video. But if you click the Content tab and then go to Overview, I was already here, it'll give you the syllabus for the course. I'm just going to briefly go through this. The best way to get in contact me would be via email. It goes right to my phone. But I do say please give me about 24 hours to respond. But generally speaking, if the request is fairly simple, I usually get back very quickly. But if it's a more complicated question, please give me about 24 hours. But I do not think it'll take that long at all. So here's the required textbook and the ISBN. I do have a link here. If you don't want to actually buy the hard copy version, you can get a subscription to the textbook. I think it's for 180 days for only $40, which is a much better deal than what the bookstore is trying to sell the book to you at. So if you'd like to do that and get an ebook for 180 days, it's only $40, you can use this link. I'm expecting you to have a reliable internet connection, obviously, to take exams and quizzes on D2L. I have a bunch of expectations here. I won't read them to you, but I will just ask you to definitely read through these, and this is what I'm expecting from you in this course. So please make sure you read through those. Here are the student learning outcomes. I just want to get to the important part for you in terms of figuring out your final grade. So we're going to have 3 exams. They'll be 100 points each, 3 quizzes, 40 points each, and then a short paper. I call it the science film analysis. That's 80 points. So you add that up, you get 500 points. So it's real easy to figure out your final grade. Take the total amount of points you earn. So let's say you earned 400, right? Then just divide by 500. That'll give you a percentage. And then just go to this letter grading scale to figure out your final letter grade. All right, so it's very simple to figure out how many points you have. And when I go through the D2L tour video, if you click your grades link, you'll be able to see all of your grades for the course at any time. All right, so let's talk about these exams. You're only going to have 3 of them. There is no final exam, just 3 exams, and the dates for the exams are listed at the schedule at the end of the syllabus. Now, you have more than one day to choose from to take the quiz. I do that just because for flexibility. I'd like to give as much flexibility as I can in terms of when you take the quiz, but the first day when the exam opens, it'll open at 10 a.m., and then you have to finish it by the last day that's posted by 10 p.m. So you have plenty of time to take the exam. Now, this doesn't mean you get 48 hours to take it. It just means you could start that exam at any time during this time period. So the format for the exam is going to be multiple choice true-false questions and then some short answer questions at the end. So the questions are going to appear on your screen randomly, ordered on what are called exam pages, and there'll be 5 questions per exam page. And you're only going to have one chance to answer those questions on a specific exam page. And what that means is you're not going to be able to go back on the exam. So once you answer the first 5 questions and you submit those, you go on to the next 5, and so on and so forth until you complete the whole exam. So there's going to be 82 multiple choice and true or false questions, each worth 1 point, and then 3 short answers at the end of the exam, each on their own exam page, worth 6 points each. So in total, you'll have 120 minutes. So that's 2 hours. That's a long time. That's 72 seconds per point, more than a minute per point, to complete that exam before it'll submit it to me. So they're designed so that if you actually do the work you're supposed to be doing, they're not hard at all. They're very simple. It's just checking that you understand some of the basics of the material that were covered in the content for that particular exam. There's some information here. Obviously, if you plagiarize a short answer question, you receive 0 points for the entire exam. And obviously, the University of Scranton takes cheating very seriously. So there's an academic code of honesty that I post to the D2L site as well in the important documents folder. Just make sure you read through that and understand everything. I mean, the bottom line is if you just answer the questions, using your own ideas and from the information that's contained within your mind, there's no issues. All right. All right. This last part here, it says no makeup exams will be given. Now, if there is clearly a good reason for you not to be able to take the exam during the time period listed on the schedule, I'm very flexible with that. So obviously, just contact me well ahead of time so I could set up an exam for you at this time that you can take it. The excuse has to be, relatively good, obviously. So, okay, with that out of the line, I hope that makes sense. So just to review, 82 true and false questions. There'll be 5 questions per exam page. Once you answer those 5, you go on to the next 5 and so on and so forth. Now, the exams for each student are going to be different slightly just because all of the questions come from a large test bank that I've created. So even though the difficulty for the exam will be the same for each student, obviously the exams are going to be slightly different. So it wouldn't actually make sense for you to want to take the exam with somebody else because you're going to be given a different exam, different questions. Okay, so you'll have 3 of those, and I'll talk about the dates of those once we get to the schedule. Now for the quizzes, they're set up very similarly to the exams, except that you get 5 attempts to take the quiz. You can page backward through the quiz. There's going to be 10 questions per exam page and 80 questions total, and they're each worth half a point each. So that's how we get the 40 points, 80 times 0.5, so 40 points for each quiz. So you get 5 attempts, and you can take them at any time during the date span for the quiz, and only the highest graded quiz will count. So let's just say, for example, your first quiz, you got a 100%. I still suggest taking the other 4 quiz attempts. The quizzes will be different because, again, the questions are random. But the more questions you see, the more helpful that's going to be when actually taking the exams. So I give you 5 attempts. You could use all 5. You could use one of them. It's up to you. And the highest grade will automatically be put into the grade book. Now, these quizzes are only multiple choice and true and false, so they're only objective based. And again, there's a date span for these, and I'll show you that at the schedule at the end of this video. All right, the last amount of points that you get for the course is from a short paper, which I call the science film analysis. So what you have to do is you have to find a science fiction movie that portrays the science shown in the movie as real, which is essentially all of them. So I suggest you start thinking about this now. So some examples I give you, again, you don't have to just do these. I say Armageddon, The Core, The Day After Tomorrow. There's so many of them. And I've had some people email me, and you don't have to email me to ask permission, but I've had some people email me and say, can I do Star Wars? Can I do this movie? And I always say yes, because of course the science in these science fiction movies are being portrayed as real. So you don't have to just use any of these, but don't pay for it. If you have, one of these streaming services, and let's be honest, who doesn't have something? And if you have an issue with that, let me know. I can make sure you get some way to watch a video, but I'm assuming everyone's gonna have at least Netflix or one of these. So you watch the movie, and you're going to write a 2 to 3 page double-space essay where you're going to basically debunk some of the science in the movie. Now, what you have to do is you have to use the internet to find evidence, and then I'm also saying you have to use your textbook as evidence. Now, there's 2 other documents for the science film analysis, and I'll go to those now just so you see where they are. They're in the important documents folder. There's a rubric. So it shows you exactly how to get 80 points. There's 4 criteria. So you can read that on your own. And then there's a whole separate document, which again just gives you a little bit more detailed information about the science film analysis. Now, why I asked you to start thinking about it now. Is going to be due January 14th. So you're listening to this video hopefully on January 4th or earlier if you see it posted before then. So you really only have 10 days to do this. So I suggest maybe January 4th is a Monday. So maybe this upcoming weekend is when you watch the movie, and then write the paper, and it'll be due the following, I think it's a Thursday. Yeah, January 14th, a Thursday. Yeah, so watch the movie on the 9th or the 10th, and then get the paper done and submit it into a D2L Dropbox by the 14th. All right, so let's go back to the syllabus. Now, I will warn you that the D2L Dropbox has Turnitin enabled. So if you do just basically submit something that's not your own work, that's going to be a problem. I also am going to say in this video, and this is to check to make sure people are actually listening to this, do not submit a paper where 60% of it are just giant block quotes from a source. All right, so I'm saying that now. If you do that, I'm not going to give you a 0 on it, but I'm going to take significant points off because essentially you're just using other works and quoting it to support your analysis. I want you to use your own words during the actual analysis part of this paper. So any questions on this, please let me know, but I think this is pretty straightforward. And again, there's other documents that describe what I'm looking for in every section of the paper. Just more stuff on academic honesty. I take that seriously. And then the last part here is about if you have, testing accommodations and whatnot, please contact the CTLE, Mary Ellen Piccarello, Christina Lenway, anyone up in the CTLE, Rose Termini, who can give you your accommodation forms, because I will need those forms via email in order to give you extended time on the exams if you have that type of accommodation. Okay, so here's the schedule. We're going to cover 14 chapters of the book, and I'm separating the chapters I'm covering in what I'm calling units. So these units are different from what the book's units. And in some cases, we don't cover everything in each of these chapters, so pay attention to the book page numbers on the schedule for the content that you need to cover. All right, so let's talk about how I have this schedule set up. So there's a date column, what you have to do on that specific date, which includes whether there's a quiz due or something opens or there's an exam, and then the book page numbers if there's a book assignment. Any date that's in italics means that a unit quiz is available, and dates in bold are dates where there's an exam or a quiz or the science film analysis is due. All right, so here's the first day. What are you doing on Monday, January 4th? You should have gotten my welcome email telling you to read through the syllabus. Hopefully you did that, and then you're watching the intro videos on the syllabus. That's what you're listening to right now. The D2L navigation and course content video, and then how to take an quiz or exam on D2L. I'm also saying to read the Academic Code of Honesty and just letting you know the syllabus is long, but it has to be because this is an online course. And by the way, this was an online course before the pandemic, so this course has been running for many years. So after you do all that, I give you a short assignment in Chapter 2, so we're not covering the whole thing. It's sort of like basic chemistry because the first unit is a lot about rocks and earth and soil. So it's good to have some basic chemistry knowledge if you don't have that already. Unit 2 is sort of like, I like plate tectonics, I like earthquakes, I like volcanoes, and there's a little astronomy at the end, which is cool. And then my favorite unit is Unit 3, which is all about weather. So here we go. So you're going to see that on January 4th, Unit 1 quiz is available. And then it's due by Thursday at 10 p.m. So you have 4 days to take 5 attempts, which I think is plenty. Now you might be saying, well, why would I take the quiz on January 4th only after one chapter? Well, that's a good point. You probably wouldn't. I'd probably wait till Wednesday because at that point you're covering just about everything. Just a little bit of Chapter 9 and then Chapter 10 is not there. So you take one attempt maybe on Wednesday and then take your other 4 attempts on Thursday or whatever combination that you think is appropriate. All right, so then your first exam you can take either Friday or Saturday. So anytime after 10 a.m. on Friday or before 10 p.m. on Saturday, you may complete the exam. You don't get the entire 48 hours or whatever that is. That's, 24 plus 12, 36 hours. You don't get 36 hours, but you get, hopefully I did that math right. Hopefully, but you take it anytime during that time period. And then we just sort of restart on Monday. Unit 2 quiz is available. You see the science film analysis is due on the 14th. Quiz is due by Friday. Now, for the second exam, because of Martin Luther King Day on the 18th, I open up exam 2 on Sunday the 17th through Tuesday the 19th. So really you have 3 days to choose from to take the Unit 2 exam. And then again, we just restart for Unit 3. And then finally, the last exam has to be taken on Monday, January 25th, or Tuesday, January 26th. The 26th is the last day of the term. So if you miss it, nothing I can do about it because the course will actually end after that Tuesday. So make sure you definitely take that exam 3. And then the last page is just my reporting obligations and a non-discrimination statement. I will point one other thing out, is that when I originally made these videos for each chapter, I believe it was Chapter 8 was actually the old Chapter 4. See, what these publishers do is they take textbooks and they make some slight changes to it, like move chapters around, add and remove a little bit of content, and then, whoop, yeah, we have a new edition of the book. So you might see when you go to look at, here, I'll even show you on here, and I may have mentioned this in the other video, I'm not sure. Like if I go to Chapter 8, Part 1, so Chapter 8 is the newest edition of the book, you're going to see when I go to play this, it's hard to see, but it says Chapter 4 up here, okay? So don't worry about that. As long as you're doing the schedule and then go by the titles in these videos, there won't be any issues, all right? Because really there's almost no difference between the versions of the textbook. Okay, so that's it. If you have any questions about the syllabus, please feel free to reach out to me at any time and I'll answer any questions. Aside from that, welcome to the course again, and I look forward to having you as a student.